Hey, this is Robert, and thank you for tuning in to Station Square, or, well, either. Yeah, because I've been doing like a series of interviews for Solomon Shrine, and I'm about to do some with Furious 5 soon enough, so I guess this is also technically a Furious 5 podcast. So, yeah, the reason why I'm saying this is because we technically have a returning guest, but he has also been very instrumental on helping me find our cast for my upcoming Furious 5 comic dub, which expect to see a video coming out sometime in the next week. So, yeah, this is Anthony Rodriguez. Thank you so much for joining me. How are you doing on this lovely Friday afternoon?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. It's great talking with you again and working with you again. We've worked together a few times and
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, because
yeah.
I remember we did a couple of comic dubs, but now we're doing like a webtoon type of dub. So, and yeah, it's kind of something on a bigger scale. But regardless, I'm just really glad that we cross paths and we're just making magic once more.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit before how it's really cool to see people making projects and from beginning to end, following through and really just making it happen. It's really inspiring.
Yeah, it's just really fun. And sorry if this is audio only, but yeah, we just wanted to be sure that we're not really like I mean, I don't mind being on camera, but I think for
It's me.
us
You
to,
can
yeah,
just you can just say it's me. I just didn't want to be on camera because I I look kind of crazy, so I just I
yeah,
was just like, let's just not.
yeah, and I kind of didn't really want to like be congested, like just being on camera and just sounding like I don't know garbage. But regardless, you get to hear my fancy microphone in my booth, and
Yeah, it
yeah,
sounds really
get that
nice.
good crisp quality best. Yeah, that you could possibly do it, and not just be out in my large echoey room space, which is always nice and fun to deal with in voiceover. But anyways, thank you regardless for watching, and yeah, with all of that rambling out of the way, how is your 2025 going so far, my guy?
Um, Pretty crazy, but not like in a bad way. A lot of like random things happening. I moved recently, so I'm now in Florida again, which is where I was born and raised. And um, I've been really focusing on the teaching aspect of what I do in terms of voiceover, um, and updating my website recently, and haven't had too many projects, but like they all kind of came around the same time. So it's been really busy, but a good busy.
Yeah, that's what we like to hear because we were also just talking a little bit before how you were like I've been doing my thing, you've been kind of doing your own stuff, so we just kind of been both just we just both been, just what did it say? We just been really just kind of tapping away and just really doing our own we just been really grinding and doing the,
Hmm.
I don't want to say hustle, but we've just been keeping things moving, just keeping things productive, if I
Yeah,
do say so myself.
yeah, definitely. I just recently wrapped up the initial recording sessions for a movie I'm directing, a dub that I'm directing, and literally just, today before I got on the call with you, I got back the quality control. So I have to go through that and see which lines we need to do pickups on and which ones maybe we already have alternate takes for and get all that. But it's looking like it's going to be done pretty soon, and we'll be submitting that and be finished with that.
Oh, give me one quick second.
Sure.
Okay, sorry about that. Had to take a quick phone call, but what were we talking about?
I was just saying how I was wrapping up the movie project.
Oh yeah, if, are you able to talk about it?
I can talk a little bit about it. I won't give any like specifics, but um I got it not that long ago, and with a lot of these projects, it's a really quick turnaround. So they want it done pretty fast. And thankfully we were able to finish it fairly quickly, although this specific project has been like the most technical difficulties I've ever dealt with on any project ever, which was not fun at all. And I feel really bad, especially for the actors who had to deal with all of the problems, because yeah, some of them like took over an hour to get into the session just to like record. And some of them like they only had like an hour to record. So it's like, well, I guess we'll just be rescheduling, or if you have the time, we can go. It's obviously gonna go over, but it's been kind of messy. But everybody's performances and everybody's acting and skills have been fantastic. So I'm really looking forward to seeing it all come together.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of fun, and boo to tech difficulties.
Yeah, those are always the worst, not enjoyable whatsoever.
Exactly, trust me. Oh my god. Take from me. Coming from experience. Oh my gosh. But,
Yeah, and I
in a
feel
way,
bad when it's like I usually don't have any issues, although sometimes the software goes a little weird and you have to do something to fix it, but it's usually like the actors that are the ones who are like troubleshooting and trying to figure out. And I feel bad for them because, as an actor, you want to focus on your performance and put all your energy into that. And then you're stressing over, I'm going to be late, like it's not going to work. You've got all these other things going on in your mind, and that kind of takes away from you just being free and open and comfortable and being able to give your best performances. So it's not
exactly.
fun.
That's really all that yeah, that's really all that matters. So, yeah, I wasn't sure if I think you might have touched on this last time, but as a refresher, what was something that kind of, was the moment you decided, oh, I kind of want to do this, and just kind of really started your whole journey, so to speak, just directing, acting, all that mumbo jumbo.
Yeah, I think I've mentioned it before on other in other places too, but in 2017 I moved to Japan, kind of just like a spur of the moment thing. My college friend was living there and had been teaching English there for over a year, and I was like, "Hey, I kind of like you." We were talking a lot because after work, she would get on Zoom and we would just be chatting for, hours, which was weird because that means I'm like staying up really late at night, which I was because at the time I could stay up really late. And we were chatting for, a few months, and, I was like, hey, I really like you. Let's see if we can maybe get something to work out. And she's like, yeah, well, I don't do long distance. And I was like, okay, fine. I'll go to Japan. And she's like, what? I mean, okay, all right. So, so I moved to Japan, quit my job, sold my car, sold a lot of stuff, and just moved very, very quickly. It was like a matter of 1 month, like less than a month, and lived there for over 2.5 years and really enjoyed it. It was a very good experience in my life, one of the best experiences. And I was able to teach English and learn a lot about myself and grow and develop as a person. And when I moved back to the States, I was like, you know what? If I can be in a foreign country where I can barely speak the language and I can succeed and I can survive and I can like do all these crazy, amazing things, I should really go for the thing that I always wanted to do when I was younger in my own country, where I can actually speak with people and properly communicate. So when I came back in 2019, I decided I would uh look into voiceover and do voiceover because I had done acting and singing before, but I wanted to do voiceover back in like 2010, but I didn't know anybody who could help me, or I didn't have any resources or anything. And it was around those times there really wasn't much around. I mean, there was Yuri Lowenthal's book, so of course I bought it and I was reading it. But in terms of how does one do this and just do it? There wasn't much back then. But when I came back and 2019, there was a lot. There were tons of resources. Like a whole bunch of voice actors had posted a bunch of stuff online. There's a bunch of websites where you could go and audition for free projects, paid projects, everything in between. And so I just went really hard and was like, I'm going to do this. Thankfully, with my vocal background and acting background, it it was good because I didn't have to start completely from scratch like a lot of people. But there was still a lot to learn, and especially for voiceover, doing something on camera and on film is way different than doing it, for an animated show behind a microphone. So that's how I got started. And around that time, I never thought about directing until I was auditioning for projects and seeing stuff and watching all these like indie stuff come out and kind of being like, "Hey, I think I can do this too. Like, I want to try this." So I just randomly just made a project and was like, "I'm going to do this." It's so funny because I posted that project on YouTube like years, like over 5 years ago, and somebody recently commented on it. So I replied to their comment and I opened it up and I watched the project again because I like to watch some of the stuff that I've done years ago and see the progress. It was such a fun little project and I watched it again and it still makes me laugh to this day because we just all had such a fun time. And it's a little cringe because it was like my first project and, I'm learning a lot of stuff and working with people. But it's kind of that cringe element too about it that made it so fun and so funny. Like it adds to it rather than taking away from it. So yeah, that's how I got started in all of this. And once I did that first project directing it, I just was like, I'm gonna do more. I'm gonna reach out to people. I'm gonna try to find, game devs and people who are making projects and see if they'll have me direct. And, some people, took me on, which I'm very grateful for. Even though I didn't really have much to my name, they're like, "Oh yeah, sure. I'd love to have you take over this responsibility and not have me who's busy writing scripts and coding and all these other things. It just takes away from a lot of their stress. So, and from those projects, I was able to get a lot of experience and learn a lot about how my process would work and how I can work with actors and get performances. And then from there, just applying to more, bigger gigs, more professional stuff, and people seeing that I can do it and giving me a chance. And that's how I got to where I am.
That's so awesome. And what is something that you really love or enjoy the most out of doing this after being in the business for quite a few years?
Um, there's a lot. There's a lot. I think one of the biggest things is helping other people and showing other people how to do it too, and encouraging them and giving them the tools that they need to improve and get better and get to the point where they can succeed as well. That for me, that's like the most rewarding and the most I don't know, the best thing about what I'm doing. Other than that, just doing it, just the process of being there with the actor, directing, you know, watching the video and seeing the performances and kind of hearing what they give and giving feedback on that and just playing, playing with them, like being in that space where they have the freedom to do what they want because I want them to be comfortable and I want them to give whatever performance they're feeling in the moment. And of course, there's little technical things that I have to, tell them, okay, you gotta, speed up here or don't get too loud in this section because we gotta be careful. Stuff like that. Um, but yeah, just doing it is just the most fun part, being in the session with the actors and watching the performances that they give and being a lot of the stuff I just laugh, they give a take and I'm just laughing. So it's really weird to work a job where you don't feel like you're working at all.
Yeah, I was just talking with somebody else of just, if you work a job you love, you never have to work another day in your life. But
Yeah,
I mean, I
exactly.
guess it's like it's sort of true, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of, the adulting business stuff that we got to take care of. So
Yeah.
it's like, it is still work, but you're having fun doing it. I mean, it's not like you're doing a job that, you're just absolutely. I mean, we all have stuff that is not so
Yes.
glamorous to be fair
Yeah,
at the
of
end of the day.
course.
But at the end of the day, it's like, you know what? Hey, it's the smallest stuff that kind of makes it worth it at the end of the day.
Yeah, and when you do those, I work with actors who work full-time jobs too. So some of them are full-time actors, some of them are part-time actors, and everything in between. And I always tell those who are working another job, it's like, you do your job and you work hard in your job so that you can really focus and put everything, all your energy and all your resources into the thing that you want to be doing, full time later on. So even the aspects of this job that I do that aren't fun, like, a lot of the preparation stuff and a lot of the like editing and fixing stuff, and of course the communication with clients and all that stuff that's, necessary and not necessarily glamorous or fun. It's still worth, all the effort and all the time that you put into it to have those moments where, especially when you finish a project and you see it and you get to see the whole thing just coming together, it's all worth, all that hard effort and all that toiling and time. It's all for the sake of what you finish. And if you did your best and if you put in all that you could, you're rewarded with the greatness of what you see afterwards.
Exactly. So, what would you say were some of the, because I know we're working on a project right now, but what would you say were the ones that were very just, it really made you so appreciative and it really changed your life, or it just really changed the trajectory of in your career in a way? The ones that left such a really big impact on you.
In terms of projects,
Oh yeah, or just anything just in general that you've done, like whether it's directing, act, or just anything
okay.
that you've worked on that is like, oh my gosh, yeah, I look back on this and it's like, yeah, I'm just really proud of it, or it really connected or resonated with me in such a personal way. And you could just say roles and just anything, period, that you want to give a
Yeah,
shout out to.
there's a lot of I mean I think a lot of the things that I've done, there's always something that I get from everything. Um like even the little fun projects that I'll do on the side that there's no payment or anything. It's just, hey, I have this idea or I want to try this thing out and see what happens. Those little things, sometimes those are like the most rewarding, even though there's no monetary compensation whatsoever. Like I did this audio drama years back and it was like a funny fan fiction based off of like a League of Legends universe characters. And even though it was like funny, it was like serious at the same time. Like it was a very dark story, but the premise was like kind of a joke. Because in League of Legends, um, the characters all have different skins, right? And so you can choose the skin that you want to play as the character, which is just like a different type of lore or a different theme or whatever. And so one day, like me and my friends, we were just chatting, and one of them was like, "Oh, we need a Star Guardian Urgot skin and a Star Guardian Twitch skin." And Urgot and Twitch are not like cutesy characters. They're kind of like grimy grungy type characters who are the opposite of what Star Guardian represents. And so another person was like, "Well, I'll write a fan fiction story that just like, has Twitch and Urgot as Star Guardians and I'll just make a whole story about it." And so they wrote a story, and the story was like so highly accurate to the lore and so like real, like it was a real script, like it wasn't a joke or a gag or anything. And so I was like, well, I'm gonna turn this into an actual audio drama, and I'm gonna put, sound effects and music and hire, well, not hire because everybody was voluntary, but like have actors play the characters, and we're gonna develop this and see what happens. And it's really good. I'm very impressed with it. Like all of the acting is on point, all the characters sound amazing, and it really builds out the world. And even though it like came from this little joke gag thing, it's a very serious uh little audio drama and has like really dark themes and interesting moments between the characters. So that one, yeah, always sticks out. I always remember that because it was just so fun, and I'll still go back and listen to it and be like, man, this is really good. And we had, zero budget and it was all just us making it. That's one of them. Another one was when I first started into dubbing and was, learning the ropes and helping my friends who were also learning the ropes at the same time. I would just make little mock sessions of it was Inuyasha at the time because one of the actresses was like, I really want to dub Inuyasha just for fun and just like practice. And I was like, okay. So I just like made up some sessions for Inuyasha and we all voiced different characters in the scenes and just had a good time. And the time just went by so fast, even though, we spent hours and hours practicing and working on it. We were just having fun. And I go back and I'll watch some of those clips and yeah, we've all improved since then. But even what we gave back then, because we gave so much passion and so much joy into it, it's still really enjoyable and fun to watch.
Yeah, and speaking of actors, anybody that you consider to be like very instrumental on your own journey into voiceover and just everything that you partake in?
Oh, I mean, so many, so many. I mean, I don't think I could even name them all, but just from all the media that I watched as a kid and growing up and onward, just all those people, you know, all the stories that we watch and that we listen to, either whether it's a movie, a book, uh, a play, whatever it is, all of that has inspired me and, pushed me in a certain direction. And I take as much as I can from all of those people, um, whether I know them in person or whether I'll never know them. Like it doesn't matter because their performances and their work and what they do really sticks with you. I mean, when I was in, I think it was in like seventh, eighth grade, Lord of the Rings, the trilogy came out, and I was I wasn't obsessed, but I bought the VHS and I would watch that movie like 3 times a day, every day. So maybe I guess some people would say obsessed, but like to me, it wasn't really obsession. I was just like, it was amazing. Like it was one of the most amazing pieces of art I had ever come across in my entire life. And, it's Lord of the Rings. So everybody knows Lord of the Rings and Peter Jackson and everybody a part of that production did such a phenomenal job on that. And I got to the point where I watched it so often I could like quote the whole movie, like beginning to end as it was going on. I couldn't do that now because it's been a long time, but yeah, I really loved that movie and all of those actors amazing and everybody who took part in that production definitely inspired me not just for voiceover, not just for acting, but just in life in general. We watch these stories and we watch these movies and we're so captivated by them because they teach us life lessons. Like they help us as people. There's a lot that we can gain from them. And especially when you grow older and mature and can think, more deeply about stuff, you can look back on these things and really be like, oh, like I see what this really means and how this really affected me and why it affected me so much. And of course, we can keep doing that as we get older and older and mature more and more. We can keep looking back and see even more and more and see deeper into all these things. But definitely those things. And then an actress that I actually met in person, Alejandra Reynoso. I met her when I was in Japan, and I didn't know she was an actress at the time. I just met her because she was mutual friends with somebody, and she was in Japan and happened to know the same people. And so I met her and hung out with her in person a few times, and she's just an amazing person. She's just a person, like a normal good person, and really funny and a pleasure to be around. And then, she told us, she told me, oh yeah, I'm an actor. And so I looked into her afterwards and I, realized, oh, she's like a big name actress. And at the time she hadn't really like exploded onto the scene. But very recently after that she did. And deservingly so. She's put so much time, so much effort, so much love, so much care into what she does. Um, and being the amazing person that she is, of course, like I expect, it to turn out so well because she's such a pleasure to be around. I hope to one day actually be able to work with her on a project. That's like one of my goals for sure. I've been thinking about that for years, and hopefully it will happen someday. Um, but yeah, she's just an amazing person, an amazing actress. Definitely helped me a lot too in my journey for voiceover because when I started on voiceover, I didn't really know too much, but she has a podcast and she has a website, and I would ask her a couple things. I try not to bother her too much because there's other places you can find these answers. You don't have to like go to one person and just ask them the same thing that everybody asks them. So I definitely tried to not reach out to her about some of these minor things, but maybe a couple nuanced things where I'd be like, hey, like I just need your advice on this. And she was very friendly and very kind and gave me very good responses. But she has a podcast. Check it out if you haven't. I believe it's called Rolling Wild with Alejandro Reynoso. And she has guest actors and they talk about really good stuff. You can learn a lot about voiceover, a lot about acting, and a lot about being human and being a good person. So she definitely inspired me and helped me a lot in my process and in my journey.
Yeah, that's really awesome. And I know the network Nexus, working with Wooly and a few of the others on the team that I also want to give a shout out to, just being absolutely amazing. And everyone on your talent roster, just way too many
Oh
to
yeah.
mention, but
Oh yeah,
yeah.
there's way too many. It's like 750 people.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess we'll just I think this is kind of like sort of piggy banking. This kind of segues into the next question here, which is
Sure.
let me see. Let me pull it up. All right, what was
No
it?
worries.
Okay, so I know while I pull it up, like, oh yeah, what is something that's been keeping you positive during this time?
Well, the biggest thing is um my religion, my spirituality. Uh, that definitely always keeps me positive because if anything bad happens, I always, have God. I always have that to rely on and a community too. Because for a while I wasn't really a part of anything specific, but I recently joined the Orthodox Church, and they're pretty hardcore and they're very, very loving and very supportive. So yeah, definitely my relationship with God and my journey in life in that respect always keeps me in the right direction.
Amen. And if you were to think back to anything, like it could just be something you've worked on or just anything in your life that made you remember why you fell in love with acting, what would that be? Just out of curiosity.
Well, what pops into my head right now is just, all these cartoons that I used to watch as a kid, like Digimon, Pokemon, and Sonic, and all these iconic shows, right? Um, that really, yeah. Especially especially Digimon, I think. Digimon, it was around the time where I was, maturing and starting to understand, these shows not as just like entertainment things, but like as more than that. And Digimon goes pretty deep into into like philosophical and relational questions. So, especially the third season, the third iteration, what is it called? Digimon Tamers, I think, or something. But yeah, it's pretty. pretty deep stuff that they do. And a lot of those uh voice actors that worked on that, I mean, I recognize their voices. I didn't know their names back then, but I recognized their voices. And when I got older and started looking into them, like, I know all these people. Like, and yeah, all these people are amazing. And they really inspired me a lot.
Yeah, it's definitely important to just have just these people that are just in our lives where whether you know it or not, or whether they even know it, it's like
Exactly. Yeah.
it just there's always somebody out there that's going to be inspired by your work, no matter what.
Hmm. Yeah. And
Ah,
it's so crazy to think about because, when you're doing this work, you're not thinking about all the people who you're gonna affect and touch. You're just trying to bring something to life that, manifests the vision of what's being told of the story and of those characters. And of course, if that's the focus, of course you're gonna touch people. But like it's really important to make sure that you stay into what is important and what is focused and what is the center of the purpose. Because if the purpose then becomes, well, I just want to like affect people, well, then maybe you're not giving genuine performances and maybe you're just doing it for show or whatever, right?
yep, exactly. Yeah, that's pretty much a good lesson to know just in advance, like when you get into the business.
Yeah, serve the purpose of the media or of the story or of the character. That's like always super important. All the other stuff kind of will just fall into place.
Yeah. So what would be something that I don't know, since we kind of just there's been a lot of stuff that is just, you know, some good, some bad, where it's just like, oh my gosh, like I don't even know what where we're gonna go from here. So if there's like anything that you want to say, like when it comes to the future or where we're, because it's as we go into head into an uncertain future, what would you say is something that you like to see, or something that you like to, I don't know, like say to yourself if you when you first started out, like just if we were to get philosophical for just a moment,
Mhm.
what would you want to say when it comes to, um, like when it comes to getting into this or just still pursuing what you love in spite of, hardships and
Mhm.
stuff and all that good jazz. And bonus, if there's something that you want to say to, past Anthony about what you wish you knew, like when you first started out compared to now, just go on. Just, I guess this is kind of like the philosophical TED Talk portion of the podcast. So take it away.
In terms of where the future is going and what's going on with, this industry and technology and stuff, I would comment and say I'm not too worried, even if, the worst happens, it's not going to prevent creative people who want to do things that are creative and make stuff from doing that. They'll still be able to do that. Like that's never going to go away. So it's okay to, kind of let go of that. Like don't be too stressed about, oh, is AI going to take my job or this or that. Like in some aspects it probably will. And that's an inevitability, most likely. Of course, if we didn't have the AI technology, if it just never existed, then sure, yeah, things would be maybe a little bit better. But it's going to happen. So I would say just don't try to stress about it and like fight it too much. Of course, you've got to protect yourself and do what you have to do, but try to see if you can work with it. And I'm not saying use AI voices, but there is this aspect of AI recently that happened in terms of dubbing where there was this Swedish film and they had the original actors dub the film in English and they used an AI that would make the mouth shape look like it was in English. And so I think that's a great thing to implement and that would help voiceover and dubbing overall people will really be resonating with those performances a lot more when it looks like the mouth is speaking and moving in their original language rather than in the language of the original performance. So see if you can do stuff like that. Try to use it in a good way. Try to use it for the benefit of everybody. Um, there's other companies and businesses that are going to use it for selfish reasons, and it is what it is. But real performances will never go away. They'll never stop because we as people, we are the ones who have emotions. We are the ones who have stories. We are the ones who have performance to give. And that will exist. It always has existed and it will continue to exist. Um, in terms of things that I would tell my younger self, um, maybe I would say don't worry about rushing it too much. Everything will happen in the time that it needs to happen, so long as you stay consistent and you stay committed. Um, I was like really hardcore and went really hard really early on, and I wouldn't say that it was a bad thing. It was a good thing. If you have the energy, if you have the passion, go for it. Don't let it die. Don't let the flame die. Keep it up. You will get to a point where eventually you will start kind of slowing down, or you'll start like taking a backwards look at things so that you're not so encapsulated and being burned on both ends by it. Um, but just trust that, everything will happen in the time that it needs to happen and in the way that it needs to happen. Some people will progress faster than you, some people will progress slower than you. Some people will have a lucky break and you might never have that. And you need to think about if that never happens, is it still worth everything that you're doing? And would you still do what you're doing? And I can say at least for now that that is the case. Like I still would have done what I did. I still would have made those choices and went down the path that I did, even if like this is the end of my journey in this career or in this creative field. It's all worth it still. I learned so much from it. I met so many amazing people. I did so many amazing things, and that's those experiences and those relationships, those are the things that matter. It's not if you voice, the character of your life and it becomes popular around the world and you make millions of dollars. I mean, that's great too, but that's not the sole important thing. Like you can ask any actor and most of them would say the same thing. It's those experiences and it's those relationships that they made that last longer than, even the character's life, which is probably going to last, longer than our own lives, but those things are so precious and so important. So that's, I guess, what I would say to my younger self, although I have kind of been on that path for the whole thing. I've tried to be pretty level-headed and not too one way or the other. It's good to just kind of be in the middle and not be, too one way or too the other way. Because when something goes bad or something goes wrong in that direction, then it can get a little stressful.
Yep, definitely agree with everything you said. I just wanted to thank you so much for your time here. Feel free to share your socials, any of your stuff that you could talk about right now, and just, yeah,
Yeah.
self promo time. Go.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter. I still call it Twitter. Um, at Krishulvo. That's Cryshulvo. And it's not Krishulvo, it's actually Krishulvo. It's long story short, but it was just the name of a character from a story that I was writing years ago. And then I happened to get into voiceover, and then people all thought it was voiceover, but it's not. But yeah, you can find me as Krishulvo on many places, YouTube, Twitter, stuff like that. But if you want to get in contact with me by email, by all means, you can email me at Anthony Rodriguez Casting at gmail.com. You don't necessarily have to be business oriented, but usually that's my business email stuff. And yeah, I have a movie that we're about to wrap up that's coming out soon. It's hilarious. It's amazing. It's gonna be so much fun to see. And when it comes out, I'll be talking about it and posting about it. So I hope everybody can watch it because it's super fun and it's going to be really funny.
Awesome sauce. Well, I just want to thank you once again. Let's see. Any bit of final words or I think you just covered everything, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about a lot. We covered a lot. But
Yeah.
thank you so much for having me again. And it's always a pleasure chatting with you. And
Yeah.
uh, glad that we get to work together too, and not just,
I know, yeah.
as a guest, I actually get to work with you and get to know you. So it's awesome. Um,
Exactamundo. Yeah,
yeah, that's about it. But thanks everybody else for listening and hope everybody got something useful out of it.
definitely. And for an outro, I usually have the guest say, "Hi, my name is Anthony. I've done this, and this is Station Square Podcast with Robert Jackson, if you're up to it."
Sure. Yeah, I'll do my best to see if I can remember all that. Um, so how does this start again?
Oh, my name is Anthony. I do this and
Okay.
lists of stuff that you do, and this is
Sure.
Station Square Podcast with Robert. Whatever.
Okay. Hi, my name's Anthony Rodriguez. I'm a voiceover director and voiceover actor, mostly specializing in dubbing. And you're listening to Station Square Podcast with Robert Jackson. Was that right?
Yep, you got it.
Okay, good.
Great. So, on that note, thank you so much for watching. Stick around next time on Station Square, and until then, stay positive, stay healthy, stay cool. Especially right now, please stay cool. It's no joke out here, man. But
Yeah,
until
for real.
then, yeah, thank you so much, and I'll see you all next time. Peace out,
Bye.
and live long, prosper. God bless each and every one of y'all. He loves you very much. Bye bye.